Hello and welcome to Buckland's Model Mania. Today we're going to be working a little bit more on the Constitution from Agora models. And if you want to get this kit, there will be a link in the description directly into their website. It is a great kit. They have a 12 and 24 month option. I'm building it hopefully on a 12-month plan, but we'll see as the parts come in. So here's what we finished on the last video. We put the base together. We had actually put these pieces on, but that's interesting. Did not realize. And that was actually one of the things I was talking about, is this warping possibly. Hopefully there won't be an issue. I may have to clamp this down as I put pieces onto it. Matter of fact, I will do that. I'll find a table where I can clamp it here and here. You know, I have places I can clamp it down, but that kind of a warp could be really, really bad on the model. And I think it's probably partially because it's MDF, partially because, you know, when I put the glue on, I mentioned it in the last video. Glue moisture tends to curve wood a little bit. But like I said, I will find a place. Matter of fact, I've got a perfect place. I have shelves in here that I can attach this to as it dries. So let's move on with what we're doing today. And I decided, rather than trying to do stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 yesterday when I did the last video, because it's been drying for 24 hours. When I did the last video, I did stage 1. From here on out, I'm going to do what fits into a good about 30-minute video, unless I run out of parts. So in stage 2, they have you starting to put the ribs on. So the first thing, or the last thing we did in stage 1 was we put these parts, the keel, false keel, however you want to call it, we had put them together and we had put them into the frame here. And it does point out in the instructions to note that the keel is not flat. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get that on camera. Switch cameras there. So you can see it is not flat. It will not be flat. This part will be flush with the board. The rest of it, I mean, I can push it down. I don't think I need to push it down. Let's see. Yeah, no parts. 1-1 and or 1.1, 1.2 are raised above the plane. I don't think I need to push it down like this, and you definitely do not glue this down. You don't glue these to the base, because if you do, bad things are going to happen. It's not going to work out very well. And because this is warped like that, I'm just trying to figure out how best to do this so that it will lay flat. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, talk through the steps. I may glue the two pieces here, but as soon as I glue them, before they have a chance to set, I'm going to find a tray table or something to bolt this down to, so that I can have it flat, and then I can put some pressure on this to keep this down the way it should be. I believe it should be flush with the or down as far as these parts will go, because let's pull this out, pull this, and see, without parts 1 and 3, maybe. Yeah, there's a perfect example. That should be flat. So with the warping of the board, these are not flat. may have to figure out something. I may actually find a 2x4 or something that will to glue this down to. Matter of fact, I will figure out something to glue it down to. It's like, oh, that would help a lot. That's underneath it. Let's see. Oh, look. Suddenly it's flat. I was concerned I was going to have lots of issues. What is it Wayne says? He makes mistakes so I don't have to. Wayne, did you make that mistake? Because I had to make that mistake since you didn't. Shout out to World Wayne. Yeah, no, see, that's the thing. Look at this. That is not going to require anything. This is flat. Okay, so let's switch back to the overhead view and get building. Okay, so I say that a lot, don't I? Next thing we have to do is cut these pieces here, 1-8, 9, and 10 out of this piece of wood. Don't throw this piece of wood away. This piece of wood, it's scrap. You never throw your scrap away when you're building a wooden ship because you never know when you might need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here, and then I'm going to cut these out, sand the sides down with a sanding sponge like this. You know, just basically quick sand to make sure everything is clear. I'm also going to sand the edges, or not the edges, but the points where it attaches to the sheet, the wooden plate, and we will come back after those are done and press on further. So like I said, I will be right back if I can find my mouse. Okay, the pieces are out and I've sanded the faces down. And one of the things about sanding them down is you can see a little bit the numbers still there, but I put the numbers on light enough that when I sand it, the numbers go away. So 1-8, which should be this one here, is going to go up here right by the post. Sure. Okay, yeah. It goes here right by the post, and what its job is to do is to hold this down. You do not glue these down, because if you glue them down, you're going to be sunk. You're not going to get any further in the build. 1-9 is going to go back here. Right now, we're not worried about the keel moving back and forth as much as we're just worried about keeping it down in here. And let me switch to the other camera real quick. You can see it's not even all the way down in here. It's just here to hold it in place. It doesn't hold it left and right. The tabs on the bottom do. And so the next thing we're going to do is, let's see. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these two 1.5s, and they're using white glue. I'm going to use wood glue. Don't know that white glue versus wood glue is a big deal. To me, the wood glue is better. Let me get a couple of clamps out here, because what we're going to do is we're going to right here and here. So right here, and let me move this camera over a little bit. Where this joint is here, and there's one similar one down on the other end, that is where we're going to glue these pieces. We're going to glue one on here on one side and one on the other side, and you'll see these match up almost precisely with this shape here. Those are going to join the whole keel into a single piece. That is the thought process behind this. So let me get this one. And very important not to apply too much glue here. You need enough, but not too much, because you don't want to glue it to these parts that are supporting the keel right now. You also do not want to glue. Basically, you don't want to glue these parts to anything besides the frame or the keel. So it's a little bit sparing, making sure that I don't put too much on, making sure also that I don't get it running on the outside, and basically making sure everything is going to be kosher. So let me make sure, let me double check on the other side, because I don't want to have it, I don't want to have it get stuck. And of course, this is too wide to fit. There we go. What I'm doing right now is I thought this one might be a little bit further forward than it should be. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the rib will go in there once this is set. So, sorry, excuse my fat head. So I've got that clamped down. If it is a little bit far down, if it's against the base, it isn't. Okay, thought this wiggled a little bit. But if it's too far down, what I can do later on is sand the bottom. Now we're going to do the same thing up here in the front. Like I said, we're going to make sure that we line it up with this block here. I'm going to switch this around. You can see the top of the first one right there. We'll do the same thing with this one here. I'm going to get a clamp on there, and then I'm going to make sure that it is flush everywhere it needs to be. And if it is a little bit off, hang on, actually I can see right now it's not where it needs to be. If it does end up a little bit off, you just take your file and sand it down a little bit. That should be good. Let me actually move this clamp. As long as a piece will fit down inside there like it's supposed to, everything should be fantastic. This one's down too far on the back. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. Let me switch the camera back over. I'm going to let that dry. Move this off of the bench while I get the other parts, and I will be right back after I find my mouse. I always lose my mouse, so I'll be right back. Okay, so the next step is going to be starting on the ribs, and I've got this board here. It's actually a leftover piece from when I had got the dresser, and they had to ship a second of the first box because there were some major broken pieces. I kept these because they're useful pieces of flat wood. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut these out, and they're labeled. So here's a 1-11, two 1-12s, 13, 14, 15, so on and so forth. And it's going to get most of the pieces out of that came in this first piece here that was pretty broken up. Still got one here to get out. So I'll set this aside once I get this out of here. But let me get these out of the way for right now. Because what I'm going to do, and it suggests putting this stuff on they called it a pin board. I'm thinking that would be a cork board. But I don't have one. And I'm not going to try and drive nails or pins through these pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I can find it, there we go. I had to find some thicker tape. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape down the corners. We can actually do two pieces out of this. Let me rip this in half. I'm going to tape down the corners because what you're going to do is you're going to put these pieces, like here is 1-16. So 1-16, this is why you tape it down. 1-16 will go on here. It will sit just like this on top of the outline. The key is you want to get these as close to perfect as you can because these are going to be the major portion, major support of your ship. If this doesn't work with the tape, I'll actually drive some pins into the paper here, and I need to make sure that it is completely flat. I don't know that this is going to actually hold it in. It's not. The tape is not grabbing to this wood at all. So let me try a different method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tape away. I'm going to get some thumbtacks. I'm also going to put wax paper over top of here so that they're not trying to stick to this, and I'm not going to have to sand off paper from here. So I'll be right back once I get this set up. I'll also cut out all the pieces, and then we'll show you how they go together. This is now scrap since it has fallen out, but I'll cut out all the pieces and we'll glue them in place when I come back. So I will see you shortly. Okay, so there are all 7 of the ribs that we build in stage 2. Got them all out, and I'm going to put them together. I'll put the first one here together, walk through it, and how it goes together. I mean, it's pretty simple. You cut these out, and then once they're cut out, you will sand any remnant of the connection point. You want the connection point to be smooth, especially if you're going to be planking it. And there's a spot on, at least one spot on each piece. You sand it down, and you can see the char is starting to come off. But even though that's coming off, they do say if you're going to leave it bare, what you can do to replace the char is just take a marker, and the char or the connection points here are on the legs, which you can see those gaps there and there. Those pieces will be cut off, but just for consistency, I am going to go ahead and sand each one of them. And getting this stuck down was a little bit interesting because I don't have any thumbtacks. I used to, don't know where they went. So I used the pins and I drove them down into the board, into the board through the wax paper and the paper. But what was funny was, that one shifted a little bit. What was funny was when I realized I actually drove them straight down through this piece of wood into the tabletop, which is a good thing. It'll keep them in place. Next thing you do is you're going to sand down the face on each piece. Doesn't take a lot, and you can see right there, I've got the 111 there. But when you sand this down, if I can keep my sanding pad under control, and it's not a lot of sanding. I know I'm barely on screen, but once you sand it down, the number's gone. I was very, very light on the on writing on there because I don't want to have those numbers there if I don't have to. And when I get done, I don't want to have to try and sand the ribs down while they're in the ship. Okay, so, and you can see, maybe, now you can't really see, but I can see here a little bit of residue from the sanding. So now these will go in here like this. What they do suggest is that you can drive a pin through the legs here, through each of the pieces, and you know, they suggest that as a pro tip. I'm not going to do that. These are close enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at how these are here, and I'm going to on each one line it up as best I can, like that, and carefully tape them down. I'm just going to tape down the first piece. I'm going to tape this piece down in place so that I can apply glue to the others. A little bit much tape there. Hopefully that'll hold it actually in place. Biggest thing is you want to make sure that these are as perfect as you can, because if your ribs are not right, your ship's not right. And that's shifted. Now I may eventually go, no, this is crazy. I doubt it. So then I'm going to take the piece here, and I've got 3 faces, here, here, and here, that are going to get glue. Doesn't have to be a lot, enough to lock it in place. And again, they're using white glue, I'm using wood glue. And it's very thin layer there. And so I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in place like that. And actually wood glue, because it sets a lot faster than the white glue, I'm going to hold this for a couple of seconds. Yeah, give it about 30 seconds or so. I just looked, I can see it's off just a hair there. I'm going to hold it and let go. That is probably set well enough at this point, but I'm also going to tape it down because this is going to be in place on this board for a couple of hours. I have to be able to move the board, and it slid away actually. And this is why I also put wax paper on, because I would prefer to use the wax paper, which the glue will separate from a lot easier than it would from the regular paper. That would mean I would have to sand the whole thing down the side, trying to get the white paper to release from the wood. Like I said, this is a very key point, because if this distance is not correct, your ship will be a little bit off. And if you have it multiple times, if it's on multiple ribs, it's not the same. That's when you're going to get some really horrendous issues, horrendous fit issues. And I can see right here, this one needs to come out just that little bit. So let me tape this one up here at the top. And I'm probably going to set ribs on top of tape. That should not matter, because it's not going to be taped to the rib that way. This one, just make sure that's good. So that should be good. And I'm sorry for the glare from the lights. That should be good. I'm going to go ahead and do that on all 7. I have this one, I have these 5 plus 2 more on the other one. Once those are done, I'll come back, and since we're at 24 minutes, I'll do an outro and we'll press on from there on the next video. So I will be back almost immediately for you. It's gonna be probably half hour, 45 minutes, could be a couple of hours for me. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm still in the process of putting these down, but I came across a problem. And I figured out what that piece of wood came from earlier, and unfortunately I threw it away. It came from this spot right here. So we have a guy on HTM. His channel name, or his call sign, I guess, he goes by Geordie LaForgery, cheap engineer. And I'm channeling my inner Jody. That piece is very close to fitting perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it in there. And I'm going to then make adjustments as needed. I'm going to start with the regular glue. This one's going to have to dry longer than the rest. But I'm going to start with the regular glue and then probably do some fill, do some, it's going to get a lot of glue. I'm not sure what all it's going to need. But the big thing is I need to make this ledge here. Drop this one, don't want to break it. I need to make this ledge here because that ledge is what is going to hold the decking, the framework inside. This spot here, I can make this match. That's no big deal. I can make this fit on here. I just need to fill this in with something, and right now it's a little bit tall. It's close. I need to fill it in with there so that I have this flat surface to do the structure inside. But I just thought I'd show that real quick and press on. I will be back after I get everything put together. Okay, so I just put this piece in, and I wanted to pop back in here real quick and make sure that everybody understood that it's not because Agora would not replace the parts. Agora is really, really good about replacing parts. I had a problem with parts on the Routemaster several years ago, and they replaced the parts, the cab part, 3 times. They actually went out and opened the package and made sure that I did not get another broken part like I did before. So I wanted to make sure that I explained that. And sorry I was not zoomed in. This is the camera I meant to start on. But that's the repair. Not the best camera, not the best focus, but that's the repair in progress. I'm going to put a little bit of extra glue. That will soak in, that will set it up really well. But we'll let you see, probably in the next video, how this went together. So, stay tuned. I will talk to you in a little bit. Okay, that has all 7 of the ribs glued. This one's still drying, but the rest of them look pretty decently. And while there's only 5 here, there's the other 2. Going to let them dry, and then once they're dry, probably tomorrow, since tonight I streamed the San Francisco cable car. Tomorrow I'll pick this up and I will then do stage 3, I think it was, of this. Maybe it was stage 4. Let's take a look at the instructions. Stage 2. Yes, stage 3 has putting these together, and actually we're halfway through stage 3. In the end of stage 3, we'll put the ribs onto the framework, as well as stage 4. Just looking, and stage 4, we will start cutting the cross beams. A lot to do still. Really enjoying this. Yeah, it's a great build so far. So with that, I'm going to call this a stream. If you'd like to get the USS Constitution from Agora, there will be a link in the description. Click it. It will bring you to the page that shows it, and then you can go from there. Should be able to subscribe there and follow along on my build if you so choose. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of when I post new content. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow, and I will see you in the next video and or stream. That wasn't supposed to happen. It was the hit the wrong button, and my old outro popped up. But like I said, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time.